Folks, welcome to CNC's Ultimate Sports Take. Our discussion topics today are going to be the NBA trades, NBA draft, maybe some points, Major League Baseball. We'll get back to our football stuff on the next show. Chase is our resident experience with the NBA more than I am. I'm a casual NBA fan, but I do have a few opinions, and he's going to get into the trades, and we'll get my take on his trades and his opinions on that, and then we'll get into the draft. So we're just going to switch it on over to Chase and let him get started on this, and I'll just chime in when I've got a take or two to throw in and a question or two for him. So, Chase, welcome. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, son, just hanging out and enjoying this wonderful Oklahoma summer.
Yep, we're enjoying this wonderful 110 out here. Anyway, guys, how you doing today? Like you said, it's an NBA show today, and I could not be more excited. The draft is about 28 hours away, and the draft is already being set in motion yesterday. The Lakers kicked it off by trading D'Angelo Russell and Timofey Mozgov to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Brook Lopez and the 27th overall pick in the draft. The Lakers will now pick 2nd and 27th overall in the first round this year, and we'll see if they end up making that second pick or not. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about they could be packaging it for Paul George. I'll get to that in a minute. But I want to discuss the draft first. And the draft is, it's going to be a good one this year. I'm ready to see after the first pick. Once the Lakers pick, the draft's going to really get going. Everybody knows Markelle Fultz is going to the Philadelphia 76ers, number 1 overall. Hometown kid. Philadelphia moved up from 3 to take him, or presumably to take him. And the Lakers, though, things are going to get a little different, and that's where you have to just decide what you think is going to happen. Claude, what do you think is going to happen with that pick with the Lakers? You think they're going to make that pick? You think we're going to package it for Paul George? There's a lot of talk about they're trying to package it with the Kings. Maybe get a package for Paul George ready.
The draft kind of has. Are we sure that the guy was going to go number 1 to Philadelphia? I mean, even if they just stayed back, couldn't they have gotten him?
There was some talk. The consensus was that Boston was going to take him number 1 if they didn't trade the pick. I was kind of wondering. The Lakers pick. I'm not a big Ball fan. I think that his talent's there, but I think his dad's going to be the one that ends up destroying his career. And I don't think Magic Johnson's doing a hell of a job, here with the Lakers. But I think that pick right there is going to set him back 10 steps. I let him go. I don't take him. I even try to trade it. You just got a lot of money off the books, and you got rid of a problem player in the locker room. You got that out of the way. Why set yourself up by drafting a Ball and having another potential problem in LA? I mean, you guys have been so bad for so long, and it as even a casual NBA fan, it pains me to see what they've become from what they were. And I think drafting this kid, you're bringing his baggage of his father along. And I don't see any good reason for it. I'd trade the pick. Now, as far as getting Paul George, you've got to have some help there. And evidently he wants to play in LA. And then that opens up, then you're going to get into the LeBron, where he's going to go. Is he going to go to the Clippers? Is he going to go to the Lakers? It's just, to me, the NBA with these super teams are going to ruin the sport. It's just, I don't know.
I look at it like it's a spider web that you just can't get through. I mean, it's once you think you're through, then you got another layer. It's just, I just don't know. I mean,
I do know that they are interested in De'Aaron Fox, the young man out of Kentucky as well, and he had 2 very good games against Lonzo Ball. I was just looking at him right here. He had a 20-point game and he had a 30-point game, and they split the season series with UCLA. But one-on-one, De'Aaron Fox really outdid Lonzo Ball.
And the kid out of Kentucky, I like. But I'd still try to trade it. I mean, they've got 3 picks in the first round, correct?
Yeah, they have 2. Yeah,
28.
they have 2 now.
So, what is the consensus? Are they going to try to trade for Paul George this year, or are they going to wait until next year and do it? I mean, what do you think the Lakers' mindset is?
See, here's the thing. I don't think that the Lakers want to trade the pick. Personally, I just don't. I think that they would rather make that pick. They would rather pick De'Aaron Fox or Lonzo Ball, either one, and develop them along with Paul George. I think Magic Johnson obviously would rather have a draft pick plus Paul George instead of using the pick to get Paul George. It's really up in the air, though. I mean, the Lakers have been a roller coaster as far as the draft goes, too. At first, all you heard was, Lonzo Ball is going to be a Laker. And then I think Magic kind of realized, wait a minute, like you said, LeVar Ball is going to be a big distraction to just this team in general. And, the latest thing that I saw, and I was actually really surprised that the Kings didn't do this. I just saw yesterday, the Lakers offered the Kings the 2nd overall pick, and they wanted the 5th overall pick and the 10th overall pick. And they were going to use those in a package for Paul George. I think the one thing about Paul George is this. I think if Paul George isn't a Laker at the beginning of next year, he's going to be a Cleveland Cavalier. I don't think he's going to be playing for the Pacers. I think his time in Indiana is just run out. I think they both of those sides know, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere in the East against LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and, the Celtics I think the Celtics are a better team too. So, they're a little bit behind the 8 ball. But I think that the problem with this is the Lakers can't be patient, because as much as Paul George wants to play in LA, you can't let him go to Cleveland for a year and get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You can't let him go play with LeBron James and get comfortable in that situation. And if they win a championship, I mean, I wouldn't want to leave if I was him. If he goes there and they win a championship, I don't know about how anybody else thinks, but I wouldn't want to. I mean, as much as he wants to play for the Lakers, I wouldn't want to leave personally.
But it seems that's the way the NBA is going. People are going for their jewelry, and then they're opting out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Paul George, and there's no guarantee that LeBron and Kyrie are going to be together in Cleveland. There's a story out that Kyrie is going to push for a trade if LeBron is going to opt out.
Yeah.
So this whole nonsense, I guess we can blame it on Kevin Durant, of just going somewhere just so I can get a piece of jewelry. Okay, I understand that, when you're little and you grow up, you want to be a champion, whether it's in football, baseball, basketball, or whatever sport or you decide to do, you want to be the best at. I understand all of that. But with all of these people, big names all going to the West, where is the Eastern Conference going to be in 5 years? Is there even going to be one?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that, you give thought to. I don't know. I mean, I personally, LeBron James, to me, if he was going to go to LA, I thought he would have did it instead of going back to Cleveland. I think it's going to take a lot to get him to LA. They got to get the funds for it, because by the time they get Paul George and they sign their rookie this year, Basically all that money we freed up yesterday, that's Paul George money, So we still would have to free up more for LeBron James. And I think the only thing that's going to hold the Eastern Conference together if the Cavs do disband is the Celtics. Because I think the Celtics are up and coming. There's a bunch of other teams in there that I would say are second tier. They have the Raptors, the Bucks. They have a bunch of second tier teams, whereas the West, you see a lot of teams that could compete. But like I said, like you said, super teams aren't exactly the funnest thing to watch, but you can thank the Warriors for that because that's what it's going to take to beat them. You already saw what they put out against them this year, and they never stood a chance. So I think that's what it's going to take to beat them. As much as we don't like it, and as much as it's a drag to us, it's probably going to take a super team much like that in order to knock them off, whether that be in the East or the West.
Yep, there's no chance of even making a super team in the East. You've got the mates of it there with LeBron and Kyrie, but they're going to be trying to get rid of Love, and that's going to break that one up. Who are they going to get to replace that? Well, they're talking about Jimmy Butler. Well, this is turning into a soap opera. Okay, pretty soon you're going to be down to two teams, the Warriors and the Lakers, or whoever makes this other super team. Then there should be no reason to even play the regular season. These two teams are going to match in the Western Conference Finals. Then you've got some sacrificial lamb out of the East that's coming in. To me, they're ruining basketball. I'm going to start watching the 3-on-3 league.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about that.
And like I said, I'm not as much into basketball as you are. I follow the Thunder. But I'm going to be more inclined to, if I have a choice to watch the NBA or the 3-on-3 league, I'm going to watch the 3-on-3 league.
Thunder, it's interesting that you brought up the Thunder. As a Thunder fan, let's say that the next 3 years go by, or 2 years now go by, and the Thunder cannot give number 0 a title. What do you think the odds are maybe he leaves? I've been thinking maybe about him joining LA in a couple of years.
Russell Westbrook is the best player in the league right now. Let's not talk about Kirk Murray or Curry and Durant, LeBron and Kyrie. Russell Westbrook is the best player in the NBA right now. Period. It just hands down. Oklahoma City has got to get somebody here or he's going to leave, but he's not going to leave on bad terms. He's not going to pull a Kevin Durant on us. He'll come out and tell us, hey, guys, I gave you a couple of years to get me some people around me so we can try to win, and then I could see him going to the Lakers, but then it's the same situation over again. You got this super team you're developing out here. If Oklahoma City can just bring in some free agents, and that's our problem. A lot of players don't want to come to Oklahoma City when they can go play in Chicago, New York, Miami, Los Angeles. They don't want to come to Oklahoma City because they don't have a really good opinion of what the city of Oklahoma City is. True, we don't have Broadway, we don't have, movie stars and stuff like that, but this is a great place to play. And I really believe that Russell Westbrook wants to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder for the rest of his career. But if they don't put people around him, he's going to get frustrated and think, wait a minute. Now I need to go do something for myself. I did something for this team. I stayed loyal to them, but they didn't be loyal to me. They're going to have to figure out a way to get somebody here to help him. Because this team I mean, just think about it. Years ago, they were in the NBA Finals, the Western Conference Finals. I mean, it's not like they've been bad, but it's just hard to bring somebody into Oklahoma City. Now, I could see him going to the Lakers after a couple of years, or even after this year, if he just, does a one-year deal.
He's got 2 more on the contract, and he can opt out after this year if he wants. But
I could see
if he stays in his contract, he's set to make more money in a year than he ever has in the next season. Not this season coming up, the one next. He's set to make more money in a single season than he ever has if he doesn't opt out.
Well, that's all on Sam Presti right now. And Sam Presti has got to fix this. He's got to fix this and get this to where it needs to be. Like I said, I'm going to start just following the 3-on-3 league, because to me it's more. It's going to be basketball. I mean, I don't look at a player and say, "Show me your hand." And if you ain't got any rings on it, does that make you a terrible player?
See, that's funny that you brought that up, because the whole time I was thinking about your comment of Russell Westbrook's the best player in the league. And look, I mean, I will admit, taking the last shot, Russell Westbrook, he's not the greatest jump shooter. But if I'm putting a guy out there in a one-on-one game for 4 quarters, you're exactly right. I'm going to take Russell Westbrook. He gets a bad rap after the whole Kevin Durant experience. And what a lot of people forget is people call him a ball hog and whatever they want to call him, but a lot of people forget the fact that Kevin Durant probably had the ball about 75% of the time when they played together. So, he can't really be much of a ball hog when he was already just fighting to take shots. But you saw this year what happened when they let him go and they let him run. Can you imagine what Oklahoma City would have done this year, even with just a Paul George? I mean, they would have swept Houston. He was that good this year. He was unreal.
Yeah, it's something we've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than the Oscar Robertson year. And Oscar Robertson is one of the greatest point guards of all time, if not the greatest. And a top 10 player of all time. What he did this year was unreal. And, to discount it and say, well, he got bounced in the first round, if you put Curry in that situation and Westbrook in his situation, Curry will get bounced in the first round too. Nobody's going to win in that situation. And that's what Sam Presti, like you said, Sam Presti has to figure it out. And Blake Griffin is not going to help things. Blake Griffin is injury prone. They need to go out and get a star. I don't know why they're not involved in this Paul George talk yet. I really figured they would be.
It might be one of those things, that it sneaks up on us. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't hear anything. I'm hearing about the DeAndre Jordan possible to the Suns, and Butler to the Cavs, and Paul George to the Cavs, and Paul George to the Lakers, or Paul George to the Clippers. I'm not hearing anything out of Oklahoma City. Even being here, I'm not hearing anything. And it's odd in a way, but it's not odd in a way, because college football season's starting, and the Sooners are getting geared up and things like that, and with all the stuff that's happened with their program and the girls winning the national championship, basketball's taking a back seat, so people aren't really talking to it. And the further this goes, the more behind Oklahoma City Thunder become, because now all the focus is going to be on college football and things like that. Then you get the NFL to get ready to start. So, to me, if Sam Presti doesn't do something, then Sam Presti needs to go. Because you've got, arguably, in my book, he's the best right now, but if you just laid it all out with everybody out there, he'd be in the top 3 players.
Oh, very easily.
So why not get this guy some help, and you're going to have to get into the luxury part of this. You're going to have to get into the luxury tax of it. In other words, the old adage, to make money, you got to spend money.
Yes, you do. Especially in the age of how much money people are making now on a contract. I mean, Andre Iguodala is set to make $20 million a year on this next free agent deal. $20 million a year for Andre Iguodala. That's ridiculous.
If Westbrook leaves Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Thunder will fold. I mean, it's just going to happen because they don't have anybody else that's going to carry that torch. So they've got to do something. I mean, they really have to do something. I don't know what. Can they get Paul George here? Sure they can. But would Paul George come is the question. Because no matter how bad the Lakers are, or how bad the Celtics are, or how bad whatever, that's a brand. Okay, the Lakers are a brand. So no matter how bad they are, people still want to go play there because of that history and and the brand of it and the Showtime part of it. Just like people want to play for the Celtics because of that brand. So I'm going to follow this NBA draft. I mean, I really don't pay a lot of attention to the NBA. Like I said, you're more into it than I am. I watched the draft when Blake Griffin got drafted. I watched the draft when Buddy Hield got drafted. But I'm going to kind of watch this one just to see how this all plays out. And then I'm going to watch the NBA award shows coming up. I want to see if the rest of America, feels the same way we do that Russell Westbrook is a hands-down MVP.
Yeah.
That should not even be close. If anybody deserved an unanimous MVP, it should be this year with Russell Westbrook. Steve Curry, when he won his, I didn't think he was all that great. I thought there were better players out there.
I definitely didn't think it was a unanimous MVP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was the MVP that year, but unanimous? No. I mean, look at all the great players down the line who never got that. Is Curry better than Kobe? No. You better than Shaq? No. Magic? No. Bird? No. Allen Iverson? No. Michael Jordan? No. LeBron James? No. But he got it because at that time the Warriors were the baby faces. We'll use a wrestling term. They were the baby faces. Everybody else in the league was the heel. Once they got their whatever, then they became the heel. Now, I think they're as hated as the Patriots are.
Yeah, they're definitely getting to that for sure.
And it's like I said, I don't know what to do with a lot of the basketball stuff. Like I said, because I'm not as proficient in it as you are, but as just a casual fan, I don't want to turn on the TV and see a bought super team. I've already been through that with the Yankees. It kind of sours your stomach on baseball. It soured my stomach on baseball. Because no matter how good other people were, when it came down to the end of it, the Yankees were going to be there because they had the biggest wallet. That's just kind of how it is. And that's how it seems to be going in just about every other sport now.
Money talks.
And the casual fan is getting lost in it. Because and that's a sad state of affairs for all sports. I mean, it is. And I understand that you have to make money. I understand that. I'm not naive in that regard. But, and I don't want it to sound like I'm a homer here for the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I don't want them to have a super team either. I want to see good competition. I don't want to go into the NBA season next year saying, okay, somebody in the West is going to win it. Warriors, Spurs, they're going to win it. And Cleveland's going to do it. Then why play 82 regular season games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. The regular season just dragged on this year. I mean, we knew what we were going to get, and it was like, I think after like the second week, I was just like, just wake me up when the 82nd game's over, and I can actually watch the finals.
And the playoffs were horrible.
Yeah, the playoffs were not. I mean, the playoffs were not great either, and it's unfortunate because the West is not bad. The West is not bad, but you know, the Warriors they make it look so bad that it was boring. I mean, the Rockets, they were a good team throughout the year. The Thunder were a pretty good team. But going up against that, I mean, I don't know what everybody expected them to do, you know? I mean, the Thunder were being bagged on. The Rockets, the Spurs were being bagged on. The Spurs lost Kawhi Leonard in Game 1 to one of the cheapest shots that I've ever seen.
And that's the issue. Because if Kawhi Leonard stays in, the Warriors are not in the finals. If Kawhi Leonard stays healthy, the Warriors are not in the finals. The Spurs take them in 7. I mean, and yeah, you're right about the shot. I mean, that, you know, if you're that good, you shouldn't have to resort to something like that to win. Period. And then everybody's, you know, Durant gets this, you know, coronation about everything like that. I want to know where this play was when we were up 3-1 against them in Game 6 and 7, and you disappeared, didn't play any defense, didn't do this, but you could go play defense out there. That's why it's frustrating for me, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'll say it again, and I said this on the first show, and I said it on the second show, and I said it on the third show, and I'll say it again. And, you know, all of California can go ahead and hate me, but they sicken me. That franchise, the players, their coach, it all sickens me. Okay? You guys are not basketball players. Okay? You guys are a bunch of cocky and arrogant, and they act like little boys. That's the best part. I'm all for showboating, believe me. I was thrilled to hear that the NFL is going to allow players to celebrate now. I'm all for it because I get a great laugh out of it, and I think that if you do something great, then you should be able to celebrate. But when you do it when you're up, and then try and pick fights with people when they do it on you when you're down, and that shows a side to you, and that's exactly what they did last year and and this year. And it's Draymond Green mostly. I sat there and I said, I believe it was Game 4 when the Cavs won. I sat at the dinner table and I said, all the Cavs have to do is just start beating them. And by the third quarter, Draymond Green will get frustrated. What did he do? He smacked J.R. Smith in the nuts. Smacked him in the nuts. Second playoffs in a row he's done that. Steph Curry arguing. Kevin Durant arguing. Steve Kerr, technical foul.
It's actually the third year in a row he did it because he did it against Steven.
You got Steven too.
Nice.
But I mean, you know, they just and I get it, but this is the problem, you know. I'm never gonna like the Warriors, but you can earn my respect. And the way that they go about themselves, you don't earn my respect going about yourselves like that. They are the definition of when we're up, yeah, we're gonna be talking and cheering. Curry's kicking his leg up in the air, but when we're down, God forbid anybody say anything.
Well, they can't. They can never earn my respect. They're like the Patriots in that. They can't earn my respect. I mean, and they never will. And whether Kevin Durant went there or not is not the issue. They're not. They're not decent people to me. They're two-faced.
No, I mean they're not, and I mean there's reports that they're all they're all good off the field and stuff, and look, here's the thing, okay, I got news for people who try and tell me that the Warriors are just great citizens off the floor. Everybody in the NBA, including superstars especially, everybody does extracurricular stuff off the court. The Warriors are not the only team that does.
Exactly.
LeBron James is the most charitable man in sports history. I don't care what you say. He has practically built Akron off of his charity work.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So I don't want to hear, well, Curry does basketball camps and Curry donates to, I believe the latest one I heard was he donates to orphanages. I guarantee you, LeBron James has put double the money into an orphanage than Stephen Curry has. Kevin Durant, I need to meet Kevin Durant so I can ask him what he does, because I've never even seen a picture of Kevin Durant at some form of a charity function. I think the closest thing he came to giving back to the people was the restaurant he built in Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah, and it's gone now.
Yeah. I mean, you're not a charitable guy. And, Kevin Durant changed his ways. He was one of my favorite players. And the fact that he went to Golden State did not ruin how much I liked him. The fact that he changed into one of them when he went there. And he didn't stay humble. That's my problem. He was like a 7-foot Curry. Or a 7-foot Draymond.
He didn't change his ways. He was always that way. He just hid it while he was here. He's always been this way. He didn't just automatically become that person when he joined the Warriors. He was that way when he was being courted by the Warriors.
Yeah, but I think to a certain effect, to a certain degree, I believe it does rub off on you. I mean, being around Draymond and Curry.
He's always been that snake in the grass person. It's just the people in Oklahoma City were blinded by it because we were winning. He didn't change. He didn't automatically just throw on another face when he got to there. He's that type of person. That's the kind of person he is. And if that's who he is, that's fine. Be that kind of person if that's who you want to be. But he didn't become that person when he joined the thing. Joined the Warriors. He was always a snake. He just stayed in the grass here.
Yeah, well,
he just stayed in the grass.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree. Look, I mean, I think we can both agree that out of all that we've said on the NBA here so far, the bottom line is this: tomorrow is going to tell you how the NBA season's going to go. Tomorrow is going to tell you how relevant the Lakers are going to be. Tomorrow is going to tell you where Paul George is going to end up. If the Lakers make the pick tomorrow, Paul George will not be a Laker this year.
Houston's throwing their name in the Paul George thing now, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and it's all about what they do. I mean, if the Lakers trade that pick, if they trade the pick, Paul George is going to be a Laker. But if they make it, then you might as well get ready because he's going to be a Cavalier. But like I said, either way, I don't see him playing for the Pacers next year. Either way.
I don't see him playing for the Pacers either.
I think that time's over. And speaking of a time over, I think it's time that we flip to some MLB. How does that sound? Got the trade deadline coming up. The All-Star week is coming up. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about with the All-Star week before we got into the trade deadline and the logistics of it, how about the home run derby this year? Looks like Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger are going to headline it. And Cody Bellinger, the young outfielder, first baseman, he plays a little first base too for the Dodgers. Hit his 28th of the year last night against the Mets. The Dodgers routed the Mets 12-0 last night. I don't know if you caught that on ESPN. Brandon McCarthy had 6 shutout innings. Corey Seager hit 3 home runs and 4 at-bats. Dodgers were hot last night. Yeah, the Dodgers were hot. The Dodgers were hot. And I say this just about every year because they had the talent to do it. But this year, I am going to tell you right now, if the Dodgers get a starting pitcher at this trade deadline, look out. Because this is the best Dodger team that we've seen in the past 5 years. This is the best one.
Well, I think they're solid. I had them playing the Cubs in the NLCS this year.
And boy, the Cubs have just fallen too.
And I think that's probably going to turn out to be just an absolute great series when those two teams meet, whether it's in the divisional round or the league championship series. They're just they're on fire. I'm with you on the starting pitcher. I think if they can pull one, I think that might put the Dodgers over the top. But getting back to your point about this Judge guy, this guy is just
unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, unreal, and it pains me to say because he plays for the Yankees, but I mean he's I don't know. I like what he had to say when they asked him about the home run derby. He said he didn't know if he was going to participate because he's concentrating on what's best for the team, and to me that's a young player thinking like a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would I like to see him in the home run derby? Sure, but if I'm a Yankees fan, I'd rather him not do it and continue doing what he's doing.
Yes. Like I said, you're definitely right there. It just depends on the perspective you look at it from. But from an MLB fan, definitely, you have to want to see Aaron Judge. You have to want to see Cody Bellinger in it. I think another name you're going to see in it is probably Edwin Encarnacion. He seems to have made the transition well from Toronto to Cleveland. And, Cleveland's another one. Cleveland is just, they are unreal. They have the back end of the bullpen secured. They have starting pitching. They can hit. A couple weeks ago, the Dodgers went into Cleveland, and they swept them in Cleveland. And, I told my mom that this is very possibly a matchup that we're going to see at the end of October. Cleveland and the Dodgers, they're two of the best teams in the league right now. But I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, I think that Aaron Judge is going to make the decision to do it, much like I think Cody Bellinger will. Because if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it when you're young. You saw Corey Seager last year for the Dodgers. He did it. Came out and said this year he's not going to do it this year and doesn't have any plans on doing it in the future. Jock Peterson was the same way. Yasiel Puig was the same way. Cespedes after he lost, he stopped. But you saw him go back to back because he won one. I think that the time is to do it. The time to do it is when you're young. Personally, that's what I think. You don't want to wait because the longer you wait in your career, you get accustomed to things and you don't want to be thrown off by that. So I like that they're able to decline it, though. I like that they changed it a couple years back where they can decline the invitation to be in the home run derby. And it'll be interesting to see this year, but there's going to be a lot of guys in it that are going to hit some bombs. It'll be interesting.
Well, who's your 4 hot teams in the American League and your 4 hot teams in the National League?
The American League, they
possibly see at the playoff.
Yeah, the American League, number one, and as much as I hate to admit it because the A's are really struggling this year. The Houston Astros, they just will not lose. They will not lose right now. That's another well put together team. Seems like yesterday we were talking about how the Astros and the Cubs were the 2 worst teams in baseball, and now look where they're at. The Astros have the best record in baseball, and the Cubs just got through and winning their first World Series in 108 years. So I like the Astros. As I mentioned, I like the Cleveland Indians as well. They're another hot team. The Twins, I don't think the Twins can last because I don't think the Twins have the pitching, but the Twins have gotten off to a very hot start here in the first half, leading the way in their division. I think ultimately it's probably going to be the Tigers that come out of that. And, I'm sticking to the Red Sox. I'm sticking by them. As much as the Yankees are doing good and they have young, talented hitters and they're pitching well, I said the Red Sox were going to do it in the beginning once they got Chris Sale. David Price is back healthy now. Rick Porcello's there. Clay Buchholz is there. The Red Sox are a good team. They just have to put it all together. But it's no secret that they're one of the best teams on paper in the American League. In the National League, like I said, I mentioned the Dodgers. The Dodgers are obviously in a battle right now in the NL West with the Rockies. The Rockies are much like the Twins. I don't think they can stand it. I don't think they can withstand it personally. But they're off to a good start. We'll see how long it lasts. But I don't think the Rockies can stand to keep doing that. I think, like you said, I think ultimately the Cubs are going to find a way to win their division. Obviously, they haven't started off as well as they did last year, but the Mets are not good this year. The Cardinals are mediocre. The Pirates are The Pirates are okay. The Pirates were like that last year, though. They were the second place team. They played second fiddle to the Cubs. But that's basically me. What about you? What's your 4 in the AL, 4 in the NL? What are you thinking? That's the way I see it.
We're right on with mine also in the American League and the National League. I'm right with you. I do think that the Rockies and the Twins will both be scary if they can get in. If they can squeeze in as a wild card or even as a division winner, I think they could scare some people. And you know how baseball is. Baseball is kind of a little different than most other sports. It's, you can be, just Cadillacing along, and then all of a sudden the brakes are hit and you're done.
Yeah. Well, and there's that mandatory all-star break too that can be the devil to some teams, because you can be rolling and hit that break and come out in the second half like a new team.
Well, I think and I said this at the beginning. I think it's going to be the Dodgers and the Astros when it's all said and done. We're on that trend where curses are starting to be broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People that aren't winning, now winning. I'm with you. I think the Dodgers need a starting pitcher. And I'll agree with you on the Astros. They just, and it's hard for me to say that because I'm an A's fan.
It's very hard.
But this Major League Baseball this season's been actually kind of fun to watch. And I'm looking for a great postseason. It was like the thrill last year of the Cubs. Even if you weren't a Cubs fan, you were watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were getting a chance to see history.
Yeah.
Half of America wanted them to win it, and half of America didn't. Because they were the lovable losers. They were the Cubs.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually looking forward to a great second half in Major League Baseball. I think we're going to have some really good postseason matchups.
The quick side note that I was going to add, too, was on the Dodgers and the starting pitching that we're talking about. You see a lot of tragedies in sports happen, but I think that when you look back around this time and, when I tell my kids and they tell their kids, I think that the Dodgers were poised to take Jose Fernandez from the Marlins this year. I thought that it was in the bag. I figured last year around this time, I said next year at the trade deadline, if the Marlins aren't in a position to win, they will trade him. And the day that I woke up and saw that he had been killed in that boating accident, that was tragic. Not just because, not just tragic for him and the loss of him, but that he was a face in the MLB. I thought that he was one of the not only the most talented players, but he was one of the few guys left that he was humble. You didn't hear about him, talking shit about anybody. He was humble. And I think that the Dodgers, the reason that they're having trouble and you're not hearing as many rumors about a starting pitcher is because they're having to figure it out now. Where do we go from there? We just don't have anywhere to go because that's who we were relying on. So I think that I think they're gonna have to figure it out. But like I said, I think that's the reason you haven't heard a lot yet is I don't really think they know who they want to go after yet.
Well, do you think, just off of the top of your head here, let's talk about our team. We're living in rough times in Aysville.
Yes, we are.
We got the trade deadline and all that good stuff coming up, and the All-Stars, and what's our team going to look like after the trade deadline? Are we going to lose? I'm sure Sonny Gray will get dealt.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Sonny being dealt. It's really about it's about the problem with the A's is you can't do good, because if you do good and we're not in a position to win, you're getting booted out the door. So with that, I mean, I think Stephen Vogt's safe. Stephen Vogt hasn't been the old Stephen Vogt, so I think he's safe for right now. But like I said, I think you're going to see a lot of the pitching is what you're going to see go. I think Sonny Gray, Kendall Graveman, Sean Doolittle, Ryan Madsen, those kind of guys, I think you're going to see dealt. I don't think you're going to see many of the hitters dealt. Chris Davis, this is my message to Billy Beane. Chris Davis better be on this roster after the trade deadline, or I'm going to raise some hell in Oakland, because Chris Davis, he is a slugger. That's another name right there we might see in the home run derby. And you remember what happened the last time we had an A in the home run derby? Cespedes took it home for us. But they got to be smart. Let's be honest. There's not much that we're going to do that's going to put us in a position to win next year either. So they don't need to worry about putting themselves in a position to win now. Deal the guys you want to deal, but don't get rid of our stars. We need to keep Chris Davis, and we need to keep Healy. We need to keep Semien, the youngster, the second baseman, Chad Pinder. We need to keep Chad Pinder. The only one that I'm worried about that's doing good, and he's a veteran, and he's loving his time in Oakland, and I'm loving his time in Oakland as well, is Yonder Alonso. I don't want to see him go. He's playing great first base, and he's hitting the ball out of the yard for us, and his social media just says it all. He loves Oakland. He loves the environment of the fans and the way the team plays. But he's been playing so well lately. I don't know. They might decide to pull the trigger on him. But I think we're going to get a good amount for Yonder Alonso in terms of his production. I think we can get a good amount back, much like we did with your boy Josh Reddick last year from the Dodgers. We were able to acquire 4 prospects for him. So I think it's just we're going to be loading up on more prospects. I think that's really all you can do at the trade deadline if you're the Oakland A's, is just load up.
Well, eventually they're going to have to actually do something on the field, because it seems like this is an ongoing thing for us every year. I mean, we start out, we're doing great, and then all of a sudden, it happens. It's sad. It's sad. It kills me. I think what we'll do is we're going to wait and grind it out. I think we'll be okay. It'll be a long process, but I think we'll get back in there eventually. Chase, let's I've got a quick boxing take I'd like to throw out here before we call it a day. I want to talk about the circus that is the Mayweather-McGregor fight. As a boxing fan, this fight saddens me. I mean, it just saddens me.
You are going to watch it, though, right?
No, I will not watch it.
You will not watch it.
I will not pay to watch this. I cannot stand Floyd Mayweather. But Conor McGregor has zero chance of beating this man.
Not in the boxing match.
This was put together so Mayweather can make more money, McGregor can make more money. They're turning boxing into a joke after we've worked so hard to get it back from
And
the 80s.
we just got blessed with a great boxing match this weekend too. Mr. Andre Ward knocking out Karasev for the second time in a row.
Colin, yeah, that was I did watch that fight. Ward put on a great show, but I think he had a lot of low blows. I think you're going to see some controversy come out about that. And coming up July 2nd, Manny Pacquiao's back in the ring, one of my favorites. And then you have this monstrosity, which is basically a fight on Sesame Street. That's what this is going to turn into. Because the first time Mayweather tags him, McGregor is going to resort back to the UFC and try to wrestle and take him down and kick him. This is going to be a disaster. I mean, a disaster. It will not surprise me if this is the worst pay-per-view fight as far as buying to watch it that has ever been. It's just garbage. Now, and then you have the fight that everybody is looking forward to on September 16th. And yes, I will buy this fight. Triple G and Canelo.
Yes.
Coming out. Fight in May against Chavez Jr. Actually, it was just a fight against a cardboard cutout because Chavez didn't show up. Triple G and Canelo is going to be one of the great fights. We're going to get to see a fight like we seen back in the 80s when boxing was there, when you had Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran and Thomas Hearns and, Roy Jones Jr. when you got up into the 90s and, the great heavyweights, Holyfield and Tyson in his prime, Lennox Lewis. Back to when boxing was fun to watch. It was fun. It wasn't a circus. That's what the Mayweather fight's going to be. The Canelo, we'll talk about that more as it gets here, but I'm telling you, Canelo's a great fighter. Triple G is going to take him out in the 7th round. I knock him smooth out. I'm looking forward to that one, but geez, can we hurry up and get this out of the way? This monstrosity. I can't believe that people were suckered in enough to think. Now, if this was a UFC fight, Conor McGregor would tear him apart.
Oh yeah, it's just they're playing. It's like the old saying goes. He's playing Mayweather's game. But they're not playing Conor's game. They're playing Floyd's game.
This reminds me of a movie, and you might not have seen it. Some people my age would understand. It was called Basketball.
Oh, I love that movie.
So they're trying to do this intermingling sports. We're going to take mixed martial arts and put you in the ring with a boxer and see what you can do. Well, I'll tell you exactly what he can do. I would have a better chance of beating Floyd Mayweather.
Connor's, like you said, it's a boxing match. If it was a UFC match, I'd take Conor, and I'd say Floyd doesn't stand a chance.
If it was a UFC match, if it was under UFC rules, this fight would never have taken place.
Yeah.
Mayweather's not going to put himself into a position to lose.
Yeah.
He's that smart. So, in order to get it done, McGregor would have to come to be boxing. Then McGregor, I seen a thing where he put this mural on the board of him knocking out Floyd Mayweather. Jiminy Christmas, really? What are you going to do after this is over? You're going to paint over that? Because you're not going to knock him out. You're not. I'd be surprised, Chase, if the fight goes 2 rounds.
The fight's going to be all about patience because it's going to be a lot of dancing in the beginning. But McGregor's going to know what everybody's been talking about the first time Mayweather lands a clean strike on him.
Now, will McGregor hit Floyd? Yeah, I think he'll hit him.
He'll tag him, though. He'll tag him. Mayweather's going to hit him. He'll tag Mayweather.
He's not. He's got to fight speed, and that's, and learn that, Mayweather can fight you for 15 rounds, 12 rounds, however long he wants to, just by jabbing you, and keep you out of range to where you can't get to him. I couldn't believe when they actually said this was going to happen. And I thought, okay, well, when you've got boxing people, Teddy Atlas, Oscar De La Hoya, other fighters, and behind closed doors, they're laughing their ass off about this. Because all this is for you to give your $99.99 pay-per-view money so Floyd can have $60 of it and McGregor can have $40. That's all this basically rolls down to.
Plus all the incentives they're making.
Yeah, I'd rather walk up to both of them, give them my $100, let them both punch me in the face. Because that's how you're going to feel after you pay for this. Now, the circus is going to come to it. I might go to Twin Peaks or Hooters or something like that and watch it. Just to see the comedy of errors that this is going to be.
Yeah.
Quit doing this. I mean, just stop. This is ridiculous. This is like Roger Goodell and Adam Silver getting together and sitting down and saying, you know what? We're gonna
let LeBron James play for the Cowboys.
No, we're gonna have a game where the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers team up to play the Dallas Cowboys in a football game. That's stupid. I mean, it's stupid. Now, LeBron James could probably play football. I don't have no doubt. I wouldn't hold it against him. He built like he could.
Yeah. It's just the principle of crossing the two sports.
Can you imagine what would happen the first time Sean Lee or, anybody else puts a lick on Kevin Durant or Curry? I mean, this is so ridiculous. I still can't believe that sports people are even talking about it. And I think they're talking about it because in their minds, they can't believe it. So that's my rant and rave on that, but I'm looking forward to the Triple G Canelo fight, also the Pacquiao fight. But that's going to do us. We'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit more college and pro football next week. And get everything lined out and ready for that. We want to hear from y'all. Give us y'all's opinion of this circus, this McGregor and Mayweather fight. Give us y'all's opinion on this on Twitter, my Twitter feed, and Chase's Twitter feed, and then the Twitter feed for here, which is CNC's Ultimate Sports Take. Also, subscribe to the show on YouTube, and let's get this momentum going. And next week, we're also going to give you a few suggestions of folks to follow on Twitter that cover a lot of the stuff we talk about. I've got a couple of 3 favorites that I are really into that are really good at covering their stuff. We'll get through on that kind of stuff, but enjoy your rest of your week, and we will see y'all next week.
Yes, we will, and Like I said, be active on Twitter. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show, and let us know in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think. How many good, clean strikes do you think McGregor is gonna land on Mayweather? That's what I want to know. How many you guys think he's gonna land on him before the fight ends? My money's less than 10 good ones. But like he said, we'll be back next week talking some pro football and some college football. But until then, have a good one, guys.
Alrighty. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.